Hello everyone, my name is Jamal, and today I'm going to be talking about a criminally underrated David Lynch film, Inland Empire. Both Lynch and Laura Dern worked together collaboratively on this project. They've even said in interviews that the process involved improvising scenes along the way without a foundational script to go off of. The film just kind of culminated itself in a way which I find to be fascinating. This is in my top films of all time, and I just wanted to delve into some of its themes and subliminal messaging. I also wanted to relate it to other works that I love, some being other works of Lynch's. The main theme I want to underline throughout this video is this. Inland Empire is the psychological representation of losing your identity and sense of self. In this film specifically, I think this is shown through the intense pressures of fame. I don't plan to reduce this film to one singular meaning. I think it's quite literally impossible to do that, especially since David Lynch himself did not make this in order for it to mean something. Instead, I'm going to present my own interpretation of what this film is supposed to represent and how that might translate across other works as well. Now, I'm mainly going to be talking about the main character of this film, Nikki Grace, or Sue, whatever you want to address her as. I'm not going to delve into the origins of the Phantom or even the origins of the film's curse, because this is a short video essay and a long as hell movie. I just don't have the time to expand on all the complexities that are within this film. So to start off the story, we are introduced to Nikki Grace, an acclaimed actress from everything we're shown. It's unclear what kickstarted her success, but we can infer that she is by now a veteran actress. She is already rich when the film begins and is being interviewed by a talk show host. It's important to note that she is already somewhat successful at this point, and that the role that she lands is just the next role for her to play. We then come to learn that the film they're going to make is a remake, and that the original film is cursed. Both of the leads were killed somehow. The film being a remake of the original story is very important. I think there is a recurring motif throughout the film surrounding remakes/reincarnation in general. We're often shown multiple versions of the same character. We travel through time with the same faces, similar stories in a different generation. History repeating itself or remaking itself. This could be why this film especially is what triggers Nikki's downward spiral, constantly remaking herself through the personas that she's had to take on throughout her career, just like reincarnation. Different versions of the same people, like the multiple versions of Laura Dern that we see. I think there is something to be said about this reincarnation aspect that Lynch makes so relevant. The girls that surround Laura Dern throughout the film could represent this. All of them fall victim to the same curse, being hurt by love. After all, it is the affair with Nikki's co-star that kind of kicks off her internal crisis. These girls keep making the same mistakes over and over again, all of them being victimized by a man. I'm not clear what the Phantom is supposed to represent, but I know that he is some external force that is trapping all these women somewhere. We see the lost girl throughout the film trapped in a hotel room, forced to watch everything play out, forced to watch history repeat itself. All of the women talk about being victimized by a former lover. I honestly think this is when Nikki realizes she's falling in the same trap, the same endless cycle of remakes. The integral theme of Inland Empire is loss of identity, as I stated previously. I think that through playing this character, Nikki gets lost in what this character is based upon, the story at its core. Nikki gets so caught up in this character, even trying to tie it in with the real-life events occurring around her. Her affair with her co-star resonates with her character's affair. This is what causes her to lose the distinction between reality and the movie that she's playing in. We see something similar in the film Perfect Blue from 1997. The story surrounds Mima, a former pop idol who becomes an actress and loses herself through the character she plays. Mima essentially loses herself through her shift into the acting world, not recognizing who she is anymore, and it results in a psychotic breakdown. Reality and illusion become blurred together, just like we see in Inland Empire. For both of these characters, their acting role causes the world around them to become more disoriented. Except the difference is, in the Inland Empire, we are put right into that disoriented world. We are not seeing everything play out around Laura Dern's character, we are instead living through this descending nightmare with her. We don't know what's happening, and neither does she. Something that Lynch does in his filmmaking that is so effective is his use of POV shots, especially at the most uncomfortable moments. We are forced into the mindset of this character whether we like it or not. Maybe through this, we too will get so lost in this character and relate to her in some way. The film brings about multiple questions, some being, who are we? Are we simply playing a role or a character? And are we really just our characters? Laura Dern's character in this film grapples with these similar questions, trying to break through the multiple characters that she cannot distinguish between. I think that it's when she finally does this at the end, is when she fully changes history repeating. She kills the Phantom and all of the trapped girls are freed. She lets the lost girl go and she finds herself back in the world that Nikki was playing a character in. Through playing this character, Nikki gained a sense of appreciation for the story that she was telling. It's unclear whether or not the lost girl is actually real, since she literally cannot be seen by some people, but nonetheless, the connection between character and audience is very important in this film. We latch on to relatable characters because of the similarities between our life stories and theirs, and I think this connection is meant to illustrate that. Now, I talked earlier about how this film shares themes with David Lynch's other work. Another aspect of this film, and in a lot of David Lynch films in general, is the construct of Hollywood.
Where stars make dreams, and dreams make stars.
If we look at David Lynch's 2001 film, Mulholland Drive, a similar story is being told in reverse. I assume most of you have seen this film, but if you haven't, look away, cover your ears or something, because I'm about to spoil. Anyways, instead of descending into a nightmare like in Inland Empire, we rather begin in the nightmare in itself. The story is told through the main character's dream world, her ideal Hollywood dream. At the end of the film, the main character wakes up and we find out that everything we've been shown was her dream. Her real life is instead something very dark and a stark contrast from what the rest of the movie was. Additionally, while Mulholland Drive was more about how the darkness of Hollywood can corrupt and devour an innocent star, Inland Empire was more about how even a veteran actress can be spewed out by the same system. I think the character's death taking place on the Walk of Fame is deliberately symbolic. Lynch wants to make it apparent that no matter what, the Hollywood dream is based upon lies, and it will swallow you whole. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope I gave you guys something to think about. I love David Lynch, and this film is just masterful. If you don't get it, that's okay. It's not for everyone, that's why it's experimental. But more than anything else, I hope it made you think, because I think that's all David Lynch wants, is for the viewers to sink into it and focus on what they're feeling rather than trying to make sense of it.